We have 5 children. So for me, going from 0 children to 1 child was the hardest because I had been living my life for 26 years. My body was my own, my time was my own, my husband was my own, and that stopped when I got pregnant. My body was not my own anymore, and I had to think about someone else, and that was really hard. And so that was the most challenging for me, was going from 0 to 1. And so people say, wow, you have 5 kids. I'm like, yep, but the first one was the hardest.
She stays home and juggles those schedules, and she educated at home for a long time. And so that was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that she put into training, instructing, and educating and organizing their day.
One thing I would say is find a mentor that you can meet with one-on-one. I called one up when I found out that I was pregnant with my second child, which is a boy. And I grew up with 2 younger sisters, and my first child was a girl. So I thought I was doing great. I thought I was going to have another girl, and I found out I was having a boy. And I just broke down on the phone. I was like, can you please mentor me? I'm having a boy and I don't know what to do with the boy. And she said, absolutely. She has 5 boys, and they are about my age. So she was already not through raising them, but they weren't little anymore. And she met with me monthly. I still have a monthly phone call with her because now she's moved out of town to be with one of her boys. And it has been instrumental in my life. And I always highly recommend not just someone you know, but someone you meet with that you can bounce all of your trials and tribulations, but also your victories, because I would hold back my victories in a crowd with peers, but I need someone who's like a mom figure saying, way to go. My friends are not going to necessarily say that as much as I love them, but a mentor will say that to you. And it's hard. I called her and I approached this older woman not knowing whether she would accept or reject me, but I've never heard a story about someone asking to be mentored and someone said no. As far as marriage, I think having children brings up your own past. And so what we've learned is that dealing with our own individual stuff, especially with a professional counselor, helps bring us together, because when I deal with my own stuff, it helps me in my marriage, it helps me to parent, and it helps me not to pass down that generational sin that would be very easy to ignore, because the patterns in my brain, those are well-worn grooves, and it's a lot of hard work to try and learn something new.
Yeah, and I would say that I was originally sort of resistant to it, not sort of, but resistant to it. But my advice would be listen to your wife. And we do need to dig in, because the baggage that I have, the story that I have, it matters when you're sort of raising the next generation. And so getting to the heart of that is helpful in being a parent and helpful in strengthening our marriage as well.
Well, and having children, they are like little mirrors. And so the things that annoy me the most, God very quickly showed me, Allison, you do that with me. You pester me all the time. You want to know when. And I'm like, wow, I didn't really realize that till I had this 2-year-old in my face all the time. And so that is something that's super refining, is when you really realize that these children that God have given you are mirrors to how we act in front of our Heavenly Father, how we interact with people around us. And it's beautiful, and it's such hard work, but it's worth it.